Hey guys, it's your girl Londyn, and today I'm bringing you a video where I'm going to show you all the palettes that came into my collection during December 2020. So if you want to see what new palettes came into my collection, and let me just tell you, there's a lot, then sit tight because we're getting right into it. Okay guys, so we're going to get into all the palettes that I brought into my collection during the month of December 2020. So moving forward, what I'm going to do is, this is January, you're seeing the palettes that I brought into my collection during December. And February, I will show you all the makeup that I brought into my collection during the month of January, so on and so forth. So when you guys see it, it will always be for the previous month that everything has been brought into my collection. I wanted to just focus on palettes for this one because I had a lot of palettes, considering it was both Black Friday, it was Christmas, and it was just a good time to purchase all of these palettes because they were significantly discounted because of Black Friday. So again, no judgment. I do realize that this is a lot of palettes. However, it is what it is. So if this is going to upset you or cause you in any way to have some certain feelings about it, then please go ahead and click out, watch another video. I'll be totally fine with that. But if you do want to see what palettes I brought into my collection, then go ahead and we're going to get right into it. First things first is from a brand that I really wanted to go ahead and try out this year. So I was very happy that they had such great Black Friday deals because I was able to get every one of the palettes from them that I had wanted. And that is a Nomad Cosmetics. So this is the Ciate palette, and this is a very, very cute. This is a quad. Now typically I'm not really into quads, but this looked adorable, and this is a little thicker than I would like it to be, but again, this was adorable. So I kind of really love this beachy theme that's given me. This is kind of based off of some beach shacks, and it really is giving me that vibe. As somebody who spent the majority of my life growing up in Southern California, I know a beach vibe when I see one, and this definitely is a beach vibe, and I cannot wait to give that a go. The next thing we got was from another brand that I was looking forward to trying out, and I was able to also purchase all the palettes from this brand that I wanted to because they also had some really great deals for Black Friday. And this is from Lunar Beauty, and this is the Greek Goddess palette. And don't you just kind of love that foiled look right there? Oh, absolutely love it. And then what I really love is this color story. So try not to blind you with the gold, but the color story is very beautiful. It's a lot of neutrals with kind of this beautiful pop of blue, but to me this is a good everyday wearable palette that you can spruce up or you can spruce down, and this to me just screams Manny. It kind of has those beautiful neutrals, but again, some beautiful kind of metallics, beautiful shimmers, and that beautiful kind of pop of blue. So I was very excited to be able to go ahead and start utilizing some of the Lunar Beauty palettes because I really wanted to try that brand this year. Back to Nomad Cosmetics. So another palette that I was able to get from them was the Marrakesh palette, and that's what this looks like. So if you are unfamiliar with Nomad Cosmetics, look at this gorgeous color palette. Their palettes are based off of places. So this is a Marrakesh palette, so the region, this is the color palette of that region. The previous palette, the beachscape based off Ciate. Some of their other palettes that we'll get to, they're based off of that color story of that area also. I really like it because I think that is such a nice way to kind of honor regions, honor areas by showcasing kind of some of the beautiful colors that they have in those areas. And for some people, bring back a lot of good memories. So although I've never been to Marrakesh, it definitely spoke to me when I saw it. We also have the Toscana palette. And again, this is from Nomad Cosmetics, and this was based off of Tuscany. So this is a beautiful kind of Tuscan base palette, very kind of neutral, but kind of warm, but not necessarily in a orange per se, but more kind of like this reddy tone, very kind of brick toned, very Italy, very Tuscany, very beautiful. So I'm excited to, again, try that one out and see how that is. This one from Nomad Cosmetics, I'm not going to lie, I purely bought because I loved the packaging, but I also love the colors that are inside of it. So this is the Tokyo palette, and can we just give it a second here? Look at Oh my gosh, somebody's driving so loud outside. What is not to love about this palette? Is absolutely beautiful. But inside, it was like a pastel dream. So pastels to me can be kind of hard to formulate. They can be very, very powdery. They have a white base to them. So, especially in somebody with my complexion, they can really take a turn for the worse. So, I'm very interested in seeing kind of how these ones hold up and how much I have to build them up, or if they even work with building them up. Because sometimes, it doesn't matter how much you build them up, it is just not going to be a hitter on somebody with my pigmentation and or deeper. So the next one that we got was the Cartagena palette, and I love this because right away I was like, oh my gosh, this is just that beautiful kind of very summer vibes, very kind of bronzy, very kind of festival, international festival, I should say. Very beautiful. I love these yellows, I love these oranges, I love these kind of reds. I think that these pinks are going with it. This is just a palette that just screams carnival and such. The next one I got is my favorite Nomad Cosmetics palette, and this is because it is the Berlin Underground palette. So, if you don't know me, then you don't know that Germany is my favorite country to visit. Absolutely love and adore it. It holds so many memories for me, and any chance I can get back to Germany, I do. I will, and I cannot wait until we can fully travel again. So, I was very excited about this palette. When you look inside, it kind of is very stereotypical what people think of kind of Germany or Berlin, that very kind of grungy, kind of Eastern European type colors. And these are very true to a lot of the colors that you'll see there, although there clearly is more to Germany than just this color palette. But I really liked it. It really kind of just brought me back to Germany. It's very much so has the kind of like little skull heads like in there, like very like rocker chic. So I thought that this was a very cute palette, and that is what actually attracted me to Nomad Cosmetics, was that Berlin Underground palette. So very excited to have that one. The next Nomad Cosmetics palette we have, I think this is possibly the last one that we have. No, it's not. I'm lying. This is not the last one we have. This is the Malibu palette. Again, we were really doing that beachscape. We were really coming through with the beachy themes, and this one has, instead of the purple blue, it has kind of this very minty green. Again, I am curious to see how this will be on me, because again, you start getting into those kind of pastel type colors. You can get into some areas where things might not work, but I'm very interested to kind of see how that is going to work on me and work on my skin tone and kind of really pull through or not kind of pull through. Again with the Lunar Beauty. Here we go. This is the Moonspell palette by Lunar Beauty. And if you can tell me that there's a palette that is probably more beautiful than this, I'll be shocked. So I'll wait for that to come through. Not only is this like this isn't even the outer packaging that came in. This is just the packaging for this. Inside, you have the actual palette, and it's upside down. Like, this is just absolutely gorgeous. Like, what? This is so freaking beautiful. Are you kidding me? And then inside, again, gorgeous, gorgeous color story. I think of all the palettes I have in my collection, that this is my favorite color story altogether, hands down. I like all the colors individually and together. And actually, the reason why I was interested in this palette was because I was very upset when Colourpop came out with the Hocus Pocus palette, and it sold out in like nanos, and I could get nothing from the collection. I was very irritated, and I wanted something that kind of resembled it. And so I went to Lunar Beauty, and I saw the Moonspell palette, and then I saw the other palettes, and then from there, that's history, because then I just wanted to try Lunar Beauty and everything that they had because it was so beautiful. The next one we have from Lunar Beauty is the Eternal Eclipse. Now, this is beautiful because this is raised and kind of reflective, and I love this. And the fact of the matter is that, do I wear a lot of blues? Not necessarily, but am I going to be wearing a lot of blues? Absolutely, because this palette is gorgeous. I like this because it can be a neutral palette, or it can be a very bold palette, or it can be somewhere in the middle. So you can really choose to take it to a full blue eye look, or maybe a neutral eye look with maybe a blue inner corner, silver inner corner, or a pop of color on the lower lash line. I like the versatility of this palette, that you're not just kind of stuck with only having blue shades, and that's kind of that about that. I like how there was some versatility with that. The companion to that one, I should say, the companion, the Eternity Eclipse was the companion to this one, and this was the Strawberry Dream palette. Now, pink is my all-time favorite color ever in the history of life, and so I like this one too. This also has the kind of raised moon, very reflective, and again, inside you kind of have exactly what it is, a strawberry dream. You have these very beautiful kind of pink colors. You do have the pop of blue. You have some kind of reddish shades. You have some shimmers. I just think that this, again, you can make this as bold as you want to, or you can make it as neutral as you want to. Less neutral than the blue one, but still at the same time, I think that you can really pull off a very pretty kind of neutral pink eye without it being so bold that you couldn't even wear it to work. But that's just kind of how I feel like today. I have a purple eye with glitter on, and I would totally wear this to work. For some people, this would be a little bit too much. So it really just depends on kind of what your comfort level is with eyeshadows and kind of eyeshadow looks, and maybe your industry and kind of what par for the course is for that. So the next thing we have is some smaller palettes, and this one I got in PR. This one is from Colourpop, and this was the Wine and Only palette. So this was their last release of 2020. This was a beautiful palette. This was just very wine colored themed. This palette was so pigmented that when I used it, I used a light hand and was shooketh with how much pigmentation I got on my lids. I was like, oh, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to save the look. I ended up being able to save the look, but if you get this palette, just make sure you go in with a very, very, very light hand, maybe a very fluffy brush. And unless you want to do like a cut crease, then I think this is a perfect palette to be able to pack on that color intensely. Because this is definitely pigmentation heaven. You are in there like swimwear. You definitely are going to get what you paid for with that palette. The next palette my mom got me for Christmas, and this is the Nude Mood palette from Colourpop. This is perfect because this is just a very neutral nude palette, but it's not too warm and it's not too cool. It's just somewhere right in the middle. I think this is easy just to grab and go, maybe for work or a grocery store, or just anytime where you want to feel put together, but you don't want to really have to pay a lot of attention on like color theory and what goes together and the ultimate blending. This is kind of just the everyday palette that will always be a hit for you, will never be a miss for you, and that will serve you well each and every time you use it. It has those nice shimmers, so you can also give it a pop, or you can go with a full kind of nude look. So very excited about that. The next palette I have is from another brand that I have wanted to try. So Nars was a brand that I had some individual shadows. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 previously. I was not feeling it. I really don't like individual shadows. They're hard to store, and it was just like, meh, I had them, but I never used them. So they had a fantastic Black Friday sale, so I purchased several things from them. So this is the Cool Crush palette. It looks like this. I just love this packaging. It's like wavy and silver. A little hard for things to store on top of it because it's not flat, but I do like the packaging, and I did use this the other day. This was freaking gorgeous. So I did a beautiful look with this. I don't have it up on Instagram yet, but this was a beautiful, beautiful palette. I absolutely loved these blues. Oh, this was just very nice, great quality. Like I said, I had never used Nars before, even though I had some individual shades, and I was very impressed. I was not disappointed. I was very happy to have that one. The next one I got was the Afterglow palette. And this one, as you can tell, is a bit more of a bronzy palette. So when you look inside, it is very much so just that kind of the bronzy, the pink. Really like this, really enjoy this. Think this is absolutely beautiful. And if this is anything like the previous palette, then I am looking forward to utilizing this now, but also especially as we head more into the warmer months. Although I am not a fan of warmer months, I am a fan of kind of warm bronze looks. I think I got a third palette from Nars, but it doesn't seem to be readily available right here, so I'll probably get to it a little bit later. The next palette I have is from Huda Beauty, and this is the Mauve Obsessions, and this came in my one and only Ipsy bag. Like immediately after I ordered the Ipsy bag, it was probably 15 minutes later, I canceled the subscription and just was like, I just want to stick with BoxyCharm. But this still came nonetheless, and it's just a mauve palette, very pretty, very similar to a lot of the other palettes I have. This is one that, depending upon performance, I don't know if it will stay in my collection all year long because I do have so many palettes that have these colors in them. This may be a palette that I give a go, and then maybe I see if my sister or somebody wants to go ahead and have it, because although I love the color story, I do have a color story that is very similar to this in several other palettes, but I do want to try the formula of this. So it's kind of a catch-22. I could not try it at all, just give it to my sister, but then I would never know how the formula actually is. So especially because if I think it's total crap, I'm not going to give my sister something that's total crap. So I want to try the formula so that way at least I know how it performs, and then maybe if I want to buy any of the Huda palettes in the future. So I do want to utilize that. The next one my mom got me for Christmas, and this is from Morphe, and this is such a cute little palette. This is the 5S. This is a Sweetness and Spice palette. This again is kind of like nude mood. Now my mother is, if you can tell, she's into kind of very nudish tones, and I really love this. This is one that I have used probably 2 or 3 times already. You pick this up, you go. It has all the shades that you need. You can use every one of them, and you're out and about. No fuss, no muss, ready, set, Freddy. Very little thought has to go into this, and it's an all-in-one palette. You don't have to have another palette to kind of go along with it. And that was a good palette because you can also, for your pop of color, do a liner on your lower lash line that is a pop of color to help just spruce it up a bit. I like to use that with like a purple or a turquoise liner. I think it just gives it like the perfect pop because of the tones that are in that palette. The next palette I got actually from BoxyCharm, and this is the Artist Couture Caliente palette. Now, let me tell you, I was very suspicious of this. Now, okay, Britt Clark, she loves Artist Couture, and I really wanted to get the nude color palette or the natural palette from Artist Couture, but didn't get around to getting it because it had gone out of stock. So when we got this in BoxyCharm, I was like, okay, let me give this a go. Now, I had known that Britt didn't like this one. Or I should say she didn't care for it as much as she did the other Artist Couture palette. So I was a little, okay. I opened it up. I said, hey, this color story is freaking me. I love it. I swatched them. I was like, oh no, these were dry. They felt weird. I was like, okay, this is going to be crappy. I did a look with them. Holy freaking crap. That look came out absolutely beautiful. If I can, I will insert a picture. This look was freaking gorgeous. So after that, I went ahead and I put a number on the back of the palette because that means that's the number it is in my palette collection. And I said, we're keeping it because it actually performed fantastically. If I had gone just off of these swatches, I would have just tossed the palette altogether. But putting it on my eyes, it performed so beautifully, so well, and it gave me such a gorgeous look. I was so excited about it, and I definitely want to get some more Artist Couture palettes. The next palette I have is from Ciate London. Now, typically, I don't check for Ciate London like that unless it comes in a BoxyCharm. However, look at this. What is this packaging about? This is beautiful. It's like pink iridescent. Loved that for me. This is also on sale. What was a bit confusing was that I typically don't do this. So I don't really like when they do the eyeshadows that aren't laid out in a traditional setting that have this overlapping moment. I didn't love it. The color story I liked. Kind of reminds you of that Huda Beauty Mauves moment. But I was like, I don't really know if I want to get this one because it frustrated me that it was laid out like this, but at the same time I thought it was pretty. And then with the outer packaging, I went ahead, I did it, I got it, and I cannot wait to use it because I think that it is definitely going to be a nice palette to go ahead and use. The next palette I have is from Voss, and this is the Oh Snap palette. So this is very gingerbreadish, very holiday-ish. Absolutely adore the packaging. This is one of the mini palettes, and as you can see on the inside, very holiday, very gingerbready, kind of very that mood, that holiday themed. I really enjoy the Violet Voss formula, so I like to be able to get the Violet Voss palettes and get them for a deeply discounted price, which I was able to from BoxyCharm, because when you're a member of BoxyCharm, they will have, I think it's called add-ons or a BoxyCharm shop where it's not for BoxyCharm products, but it's for just general products maybe that have come in previous boxes, and they are deeply discounted. And so I was able to pick up that palette and some others for a deeply discounted price. I was very, very, very happy about that. I keep not wanting to lick my lips because this is like a metallic lipstick, and I don't want to look like I have dry lips because I swear to God, guys, I don't. It's just kind of, little, it's the metallic in it. The next one I got was from Voss. This is the Creme Brulee palette. Absolutely love this. If you can't tell, this again is going to be that neutral queen dream inside. Has a lot of shimmers, which I love and enjoy. I think this is a great grab and go palette. When you do get to kind of go out and about from the house, that is one I think that you can take with you wherever you're going. Toss it on. Again, I like the formula. I think it blends fine. You don't have to think a lot with Voss, and I think that's the perfect palette to do it with. The next palette I got, these two I got in PR. So the first one was On Cloud Blue, and this is from Colourpop, and this was their newest blue palette for the holiday. So they have some deeper and they have some lighter blue palettes, and this was somewhere kind of in the middle. Again, I don't do a lot of blues, but I thought this was absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to kind of give it a go and see how this works out for me. The next one was Cloud Spun, and this is a pinky palette. And of course, pink is my all-time favorite color. And I just love this because I have a lot of their pink palettes where they're deeper, where they're kind of the lighter tie-dye ones. And this one's somewhere in the middle, almost like a pink milkshake. So I'm very excited to see how that is going to perform and look. I also got the Viseart, the Natural Matte Eyeshadows. And this was from BoxyCharm. And I remember when Viseart was all the rage. Remember we called it Viseart, anything but the name we thought it was. This is just a nice matte neutral palette. Now, when these palettes came out, they were, from what people had said, were very high quality, high performing. I do have one of their small 6 pan palettes, and I do like it. It doesn't get a ton of use, but since they've come out with a lot more palettes in the last couple of years, I have heard some hit or miss things about their formula changing a bit, because they were very much so a pro formula before. And I think that as they became more popular, they may have changed things a bit to be more consumer friendly and cost friendly. But I'm glad I got that in a BoxyCharm. Can't wait to see how that performs and kind of see how I like it. Worst case scenario, I don't like it, I'll give it to my mother or I'll give it to my sister. So the next palette again is from Nars, and this is the Extreme Effects palette. So this is what this looks like. And this is again kind of like the Huda Beauty Mauves palette. Very kind of purpley, neutral mauve kind of look here, motif that you can have. Very nice. Can't wait to see what kind of looks I can get with that. A lot of the palettes do have kind of similar color stories, which I want to, after this kind of little haul, I want to kind of break free from some of that, because I don't want to have 75 of the same color story, but here we are. The next is from Dose of Colors, and this is Cutting Edge. So Dose of Colors, I have almost all of these palettes, not these new matte ones, but the old ones that used to be kind of more reflective on the outside. This I really wanted, but I didn't want to pay the price. So on Black Friday, they had it deeply discounted, so I went ahead and got it because I do love these kind of grungy tones. I think the Dose of Colors formula for eyeshadows is decent. It's not my favorite, but it works well, and I just, again, really love this color story, so I wanted to get it. So I had it and then could utilize it to see what kind of looks I could get. This was probably the worst purchase I made because this started something. Charlotte Tilbury. So I saw the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, and everybody was talking about all she does is pillow talk. She's basically running it into the ground, blah, blah, blah. So the outside packaging is gorgeous. I looked at the inside. Well, this was my color theme. This was my story. So I went ahead and made the purchase and bought it. It comes so you can make these has 3 colors, so you can use those to make a look, or you can mix and match as you feel. I got this. I gave it a try. I have used this probably 3 or 4 times. I have never got a bad look from this. Again, the outer packaging is beautiful. These, when I say these are some of the smoothest eyeshadows, some of the smoothest I've ever used. When I say these are some of the most blendable, they like blend themselves. Like they're pigmented, but not overly like the wine palette from Colourpop. But they do give you enough oomph, but they blend so beautifully, but they don't blend away, and they are so smooth. And by smooth, I don't mean powdery like Anastasia. I mean smooth, like baby butter, soft, smooth on your eyes and on your brush. Ooh, ooh, those are amazing. So what I have to do, I had to go ahead and I had to get the Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette. I had to. This was at Nordstrom Rack, and this was basically like 60% off. So it had some green hues and blue hues in it, so I wanted to get this one. There is a third 12-pan palette that I do want to get from Sephora. I don't have any of these Charlotte Tilbury quads. I don't think I want to get any of them, but these 12 pans I really do enjoy and want to try to get some more of those. So let me try to move this without shaking you guys. because you guys are right here on my table. The next one I got is from Colourpop, and it's at Foresight, and this is the Raw Beauty Christie collab. Love her. Love this collab for her. This color story, beautiful. I think, again, the Manny Moonspell and this are probably some of my favorite color stories in my entire collection. I love this because this is specific to the Northwest, because that's where she's from, Seattle area. I used to live up there, and so I loved watching people just butcher the names of some of these colors, because unless you have lived out there or know someone who's lived out there or know these names specifically, there is a lot of butchering that could happen. And I found that to be adorably cute. I just absolutely loved it. The next thing I got is from KVD Vegan Beauty. This is their newest palette. I thought this was going to be plastic, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. It's still beautiful, but it's cardboard because it's meant to be recyclable. As for the inside, there is no mirror because, again, it's easy to recycle, so they don't have a mirror. The color story, I think, is very beautiful. I'm really hoping they stuck with the formula from Kat Von D when she was there, because it was a beautiful formula. I have heard that might have changed, but I hope not for the worse. If you can see, the shades almost look fake because they are so inset into the pan, because it's meant to be completely recyclable when you get done with it, that when I got it, it was so light, and it looked almost like these were like those sample shadows that you get on the little pieces of cardboard. I was like, is there even anything inside of here? It was so weird. But I'm looking forward to giving that a go, giving that a try, and kind of seeing what that looks like now that they are the KVD Vegan Beauty instead of Kat Von D. Next thing I got was from Voss, and this is the Matte Vibes palette. Again, another matte palette. I know, guys, I'm really trying to get out of the habit of getting in kind of the same color theme. These are huge, huge pans, and I thought that this was just kind of nice. It was a little bit more burnt, not kind of too warm, like orangey per se, not too cool, but kind of like a burnty sienna type look. So I really wanted to give that a go and see what that was all about. I also got the Nomad Cosmetics Spanglish palette. I really do like this brand. I think this is a very nice brand. I thought that this color story was just absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I think you can get simplistic, and you can also get some looks with some pizzazz. So I was very excited to get that one. I also got the Ice Cream palette from Dose of Colors. This came out probably like 4 years ago, but they had it on the site for Black Friday. I had always wanted it, never got it, and it was like $12 instead of the original like $50. So I went ahead and I snatched this bad boy right the frank up. Here you go, right there. Beautiful colors. So I have tried this purple color called Lavender Honey. That one I was not entirely impressed with, but again, with kind of the more pastel colors, things can get a little wonky, but I'm looking forward to utilizing some of the rest of the palette and kind of seeing what kind of color stories I can get out of it and what kind of looks I can get out of it. The next one is from Voss, and this is the Coral Crush. This was beautiful packaging, and let me tell you, this was all me, baby, on the inside. This was definitely my color story. I love kind of these pinks, these oranges, these yellows. This, to me, just says spring, summer, fall. I wear my shadows all year round. I just really liked this color story. I'm very excited to have that. The next one I got in a BoxyCharm box, and this is from HipDot. This is the second palette from HipDot that I have gotten, and I haven't utilized the first one, but I'm excited to kind of give this a try and see what the brand's all about. Now, I'm not sure if this is called C-Note or Cenote. I am not quite sure about that, so maybe somebody can let me know down below. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous freaking palette. Look at that. This is almost like the Lunar Beauty palette, but more of a green hued. So instead of the Eternal Eclipse with the blues, it's kind of like the green-blue version of it. So I'm very excited to give this a try and see what looks I can make from it, and kind of just see how the formula works, because this does appear to be a pretty popular indie brand on the interwebs. Next one I have is my last Nomad Cosmetics, and this is the Orient Express. So this is soft, this is velvet, this is squishy, this is beautiful. The inside didn't sell me right away. So right away I looked at it and I was kind of like, meh, not quite sure. But there were a few colors, like these kind of bottom three, and this kind of peachy one that got me. So I went ahead and got it, and now the more that I look at it, it makes more sense to me seeing it in person versus online. So I am excited again about giving this a go and seeing what kind of looks I can come up with. And guys, I think we're at our last freaking... we're at our last palette. So this is a Violet Voss, and this is the Flamingo palette. I've wanted this since it came out, but I refused to pay full price for it. So I was very glad that I got basically like 60% off this palette because I wanted it, but your girl was a little frugal, didn't want to get it. And this is the color story. Again, just reminds me of very kind of Miami-ish. Absolutely love it. Absolutely adore it. These are my kind of colors. So guys, I know that this is a lot of palettes. However, let me just let you know, most palettes that I purchase, I keep looking at my nail because I thought I scratched it. Most of my palettes I do not purchase for full price. So if I am fortunate enough to get PR, then clearly those were of no cost to me. All my other palettes, I typically get anywhere between 20% just from a Sephora VIB sale or something like that, to even a 60% of a Nordstrom Rack or Black Friday. So anywhere between 20 and 60% is what I get off my palettes. Only if it's absolutely new, came out this month, do I pay the full price for palettes. But I'm very picky and choosy about the palettes I do pay full price for. So although if you were to total this up, it would be an exorbitant amount of money that these palettes were, that is nowhere near what I've actually spent on these palettes. So please just notate that I do make sure that although I'm bringing a lot of palettes into my collection, I love palettes. They're my favorite thing to have and to collect. I also make sure that I am getting some sort of discount on them. So on rare occasion am I paying full price for a palette. And when I do pay full price for a palette, it's usually from birthday money that I have or holiday money that I have, gift cards, things like that, that I have kind of saved up for the utilization of buying an item when it just comes out and there is no kind of discount or anything on there, Ulta points, kinds of things like that. So again, I know this is a lot of palettes, but just know that none of these were purchased at full price. They were all purchased for some sort of sale price. So if you guys have any of these palettes, let me know in the comment section down below. Which ones do you like? Which ones do you love? Which ones did you not fare so well with? What's the best way to utilize them? Give me your channel so I can come see some of your looks. Put your Instagram down below so I can come see some of your looks. And just let me know, did you bring any new palettes into your collection in December? Are you looking forward to each month seeing what makeup all in total that I brought into my collection the previous month? Are you interested in kind of seeing what I'm doing with that? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoy this video, please give me not one, but two very enthusiastic thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified of all my new videos. And if you haven't already, I can't even speak. If you haven't already, head on over to Instagram, follow me there so you can see what I do when I'm not here on the YouTubes with you. So guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I love you. I'll miss you. And until next time, guys, bye.